Well, I'm here at the ESTA 2023 conference with Morag, and she's just done a fantastic workshop called Scottish Whispers, and she's taught a group of fantastic fiddle players about Shetland music. What was the tune that you played earlier in the workshop, and how did you kind of find it, and why did you choose it for the workshop? Just tell me a bit about like the tune.
Yeah, so the tune I chose was Donald Blue, but actually I chose two tunes. The other one was Miss Spence, because I wanted people to have a choice, so that they were playing a tune that they wanted to play. I think that's like really important, rather than just like me prescribing a tune that I like.
Yeah.
And this comes from a collection of Shetland tunes that were collected by Tom Anderson in the 1970s, 60s and 70s. So he was a fiddler in Shetland. He went round, he was a Perry teacher. He went round to old crofts, folk that he knew, like somebody's aunt who lived out on a remote place, and just got them to play the tunes that they knew. And he listened to them, recorded them, and wrote them all down. And then, along with Stirling University, put them together in a collection. Ooh. And this collection is now like a sort of Bible of Shetland tunes. And the title is Hand Me Doon the Fiddle. So, Hand Me Down the Fiddle, but in Shetland dialect. And yeah, you can still get it online and everything. And this has like all the main tunes. So Donald Blue and Miss Spence Reel, the two tunes in this session, they are both dance tunes. So they're designed to get people up and dancing, basically.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah. So and Miss Spence is all about a woman who was really beautiful. Lots of Shetland tunes are about that, and Donald Blue is about a person called Donald. Other typical types of tunes you get are also about boats, about fishing. No surprises, because Shetland is an island, so that's like a big part.
So you were born in Aberdeen, and then you moved up to Shetland with your family.
Yeah, so actually I was born in the south of England, and then right. When I was a baby, we've moved around a lot,
yeah.
But we moved there when I was really small. My mum is a fiddle player.
Oh, nice, yeah.
So she was really excited to be part of this Shetland fiddle tradition. And then obviously I grew up there. Music lessons were really cheap. I mean, I can't tell you how much, but they were like massively subsidised, basically by the oil industry that had moved there in the 1970s.
Yeah.
And so a big part of it was learning instruments. And actually my music teacher, who he moved up, I don't know, like 1990s. And one of the reasons he came, he loved Shetland, but also because this tiny school, and really was a tiny school, had an enormous orchestra, because basically everybody played instruments, and all my friends played instruments.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So we had lessons in the school, and then when I came home after school, bring my friends, we'd bring our fiddles. My mum, she was teaching herself to like vamp on the piano. So I don't know if you know what vamping is, but it's like dung 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 dung. I don't know if that's anyway, so it was that sound. And so we'd be like, oh, we don't want to play. And she'd be like, get your fiddles out, and we'll just play through a couple of tunes, and I'll just vamp along, because I want to learn, I want to like improve my vamping. But really, she was just getting us to practice a little bit every day.
That's a good technique.
It's a very good technique. You're helping me out. So so that's kind of how, that was sort of like the process of it.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, because so Shetland's like super isolated, there's not a lot to do. We don't have a cinema. I still don't think there's anything like exciting attractions like McDonald's or anything. There's like literally nothing. Sorry, Shetland, there's loads of swimming pools, there's lots of table tennis, but I mean, there's not a lot to do, but music is a big part of that. So in different villages, you'd have like every day of the week, basically, you could go to a session, often like a fiddle and accordion club. Ooh, so everyone would come along with their accordions, their fiddles, because mostly that's what people played. Sometimes piano, also piano players as well, doing the old vamping. And then we would just play through all the tunes, and like if you could play the tunes, you would play the tunes. If you couldn't play all the tunes, you'd play some of the notes, you'd listen, you'd make up harmonies, like it's music not so much as performance, but more a sort of community participatory experience. So you're doing it together, so we're not so interested in the final sound, should we go loud there, should we go soft there, but rather it's about the sharing of a book, an oral tradition of these tunes that we know.
Playing together, sort of.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's the purpose of it, is playing together. Like everyone's playing Scrabble together, everyone's playing these Shetland reels together. And then there was also opportunities to play for like Shetland dancers, so there's Shetland dance societies that do the Shetland dance tradition, which is many ways similar to your Ceilidh tradition, but different dances. Also influenced a bit by Norway because of the strong links with the sea. So then, and that's very exciting. When you're like a fiddle player, the ultimate thing is to play for dancers, because that is what the music's for. That's what brings it all to life.
Oh, that's fantastic. So did you ever do like gigs, I guess, where like you would be playing and then like you'd have like loads of people come in and they would do like all the dances and stuff?
Yeah, like absolutely. I mean, in the summer we would play, so there would be like lots of people came in on the boats and everything, tourists or whatever. And so every week my mum and then later me as well, we would play for the dancers, this dancing troupe in Lerwick, to show everybody the dances and everything.
Oh, that's brilliant.
So yeah, that's kind of, I guess that's the sort of musical background of that I grew up with.
Yeah, well that's cool. It kind of reminds me a bit of my own, because like, I mean, I'm from Aberdeen, so like there's been a lot of like in school there was a lot of like kind of Ceilidh and stuff, but like the music would always be like through the teacher's big like speaker, and then we'd be like going around the gym. So it's quite nice to kind of imagine like you growing up like playing this music and kind of making it feel a bit more alive, I guess.
Yeah. Like, was that social dancing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Social dancing. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we used to kind of have a fair moan about doing it, but like it's nice to kind of imagine it as like a big part of the community, I feel like.
Absolutely. And also like you'll be thankful for every Scottish wedding you go to for the next 50 years. You need like, it's a way in, and that's your community participatory experience as well.
Exactly. Yeah. So how did you manage to kind of get from that to then kind of running your own workshops and kind of developing this idea of the Scottish Whisperers? Is it like something you researched, or?
Yeah, so good question. I guess it's a lot to do with my experiences really, because so I had that folk background, and then when I was in my early 20s I really wanted to become a classical musician. I heard Bach and I was like, okay, I want to be able to do that. So then I embarked on this like crazy journey where like I couldn't really read music, and I'd like not really left first position, lots of things, like it's a very different set of skills that you have. So whatever, went back to studying and everything, and it was really interesting being an adult learner again and learning a completely different, I mean it's a very vulnerable experience, and it gives you a lot of information and about teaching and everything. And basically on my journey, every time like in gigs or whatever, people would be like, oh, I've heard you do folk music, can you teach me a tune? So I would start teaching people tunes, like, you know, like if we had a break or like outside of the rehearsal schedule or whatever. And then also a lot of people came to me and they were like, wow, I just can't believe that you can play music without music. You can you can make sound without music, the sheet music in front of you. And like I always think, actually it's in many ways it's much easier than the sheet music, because you don't need so much information. Like all you need to do is use your ears. And so for me that was really interesting. I was like, well, here are people who are like have a really high technical level, are amazing musicians, they do like incredible repertoire, play very complex together, very short time period to put productions together, but this one thing that I find very easy they find really difficult. So what can I do to help them? Anyway, so then we had lockdown. And what was interesting about the lockdown was suddenly, and it was also really hard, like none of us had any work, but we had lots of free time. So then a lot of people were struggling, so I said, well, come, I'll teach you tunes, it's something to do together online. And what I find about the online experience is that it's an amazing teaching tool, because being in a room and getting to play something that you don't know what to do with other adults is very intimidating. But on Zoom, you switch off your microphone, you switch off your video even if you want, if you really feel very vulnerable. And like, I can't hear you, I can't see you, but you can just learn in the comfort of your own home. And it takes down a lot of barriers. So I find that very interesting. And then the other thing I find interesting was the fact that like when you're like working on this together, because I'm giving them something and in return I ask for feedback. So then it was built on my beliefs, but also then also on like the feedback that they told me.
What form was the feedback? Was it just kind of them talking afterwards, like about this?
Yeah, so I'd ask questions. So I'd say, what was this? Was this too slow? Was this too fast? Very specific things. And then I built up the course using what they told me as well. Well, you know, so the other thing I wanted to say as well. So yeah, so also like I got feedback from them as well.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I guess that the last stage was just it was like I would want to know what academia says, like what can we learn from academia.
Oh, yeah.
So then I went and did my master's at Aberdeen University, weirdly.
Oh, nice. Yeah, my dad works there.
No way, do I know him?
Probably not. He does like health services research. Which
Okay, no,
is
I
quite
don't.
niche, but,
I don't think we overlapped.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Mine was more like music.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I did like the whole project was like looking at what people tell us about memorization, what helps us memorize, oral tradition, teaching, pedagogy, all that kind of thing. And then I put an open advert out going, do you want to be in my research? And then I got like 66 people signed up. And so I would teach them a tune every week, and then I just had a anonymous questionnaire. They would tell me like, did this help you? Did that help you? How much did it help you? What did you like? What did you not like? But whatever. These very quick questions. And then I just compared it and just to see various different things. And that was just very informative for my teaching, because then I could really see like what helped people, what didn't help people, like, you know, did they improve over time? Question is yes, it did get better. And also with harder tunes, they also like cope better and better. So I guess like my next stage for the Scottish Whispers is now I'm thinking about like how does this apply to classical music, which is really interesting. So far I've done it mostly with folk music, but actually I think this can really be applied to classical music. How can we memorize it? For example, at the Aurora Orchestra, which are amazing. So actually at the ESTA Summer School this August, that's going to be my course is going to be looking at how can we take this from this folk music tradition and put it into the classical music, and what can we learn from the Scottish Whispers method, but also from other musicians who play without music, like what's their experiences, and we'll experiment with it and see what happens basically. So that's kind of I guess where it's going. So this is Miss Ben, so this is a Shetland reel that people would dance to. I'm going to start again because my foot tapped and I don't like that actually.